How
are
are
you?
you?
Good,
I'm
good, good.
I'm good. I can hear you, so I think maybe it is working, but I'm not
Good.
sure.
Okay, I
Yeah.
can hear you too. Okay, perfect. So if everyone doesn't already know, this is Barb from Sweet Mac Shop, and she's from Arizona. She's been doing this for a little over a year, and she was an interior designer before COVID, you said?
Yes.
Okay, before
Before the
COVID.
before like the big pandemic shut down, yes.
Okay, okay. And then she also says she loves color, making reels, and all 90s music. Are you saying like, is this Spice Girls or like Radiohead?
It's like everything in between from Run DMC to like Erasure. I love it all.
Nice, okay. Cool. Okay, so do you want to answer questions or do you want to talk a little bit? What do you think?
We can do both. We can do both. However you want to do this, I am game. Thanks for having me.
Okay, maybe we'll start with like some of our favorite tips and then open it up to questions. So if you guys have questions already, put them in the comments and they'll pop up. And then after we talk for a bit, we'll go through and look at them.
Perfect. Perfect.
Okay, yeah. So what would you say maybe like some of your top tips are for
Okay, top
starting?
tips. I actually wrote them down.
Oh, good. I didn't.
So, well, I was like, I thought the live was an hour later, so I like checked the timer. I'm like, oh snap, 32 minutes. I'm like, da, 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 da. Anyways, okay, some of my tips are get cottage law certified if you are going to
Yep.
run a business from home. Just
Yes.
give those people some satisfaction knowing that you have a clean environment. That's just insurance. So, my second tip is if you have pets, shedding pets, get them out of your kitchen. Like a dog shaking his tail down yonder can find their way into their cookies
Hmm.
faster than you can say Bob's your uncle. So if you've got pets, lock them up. Um, Other tips, how to schedule. So it's really easy working from home. And this was true in my design life too, that I tend to work around the clock, right? I'm like, oh, I
Hmm.
thought of something and I'll run to the kitchen, or I thought of something and I'll redesign a room. Know a schedule, stick to your schedule, and walk away from it. Walk away from it.
Yeah.
That way you have peace in your life and balance.
Yeah.
Um, More tips by Michelle's guide. That guide seemed amazing.
Yeah,
So
people liked it. Yeah.
I have that as a tip. 90s rap music in the background is always a good motivator. If you need some tips on that, my DMs are always open. And then know your profit margins, know your costs. You're
Yeah.
not running a friendery, you're running a bakery. So charge everyone. If your family's ordering from you, it's because they want to support you, not because they want something for free. And if they do
Hmm.
want something for free, trade them in. Like you are running a bakery, you're not running a charity. I love charity and I love giving things away, but that is not what your business is.
Yeah. And
So
real friends will pay.
real friends will pay and they won't
Yes.
ask you to do it
No.
cheaper than the grocery store.
No.
So yeah.
Yes. It's always people I don't really know and they're my friends that are like, "Can I have a discount?" I'm like,
Friends.
"Who are you?"
Yeah. Yeah. We get that a lot. They're like, well, I know your husband. I'm like, well, yeah. Who? Well, Ben. I'm like, well, that's
Who?
funny. His name is David.
Ben recommended me.
Ben, your husband Ben speaks highly of you. That's really funny. I'm married to a guy named David. So yeah, just definitely like a lot of people, I think when because they're making it out of their home,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people think, oh, well, it's just a hobby. No, you're a business. Be a business.
Yep. Yeah, and you have to pay for ingredients, your time,
Yeah.
packaging, everything. Yeah.
And I feel like people never factor in drive costs,
Yeah.
packaging costs, like all those other, right now, all the ingredients have doubled. I
Yeah.
don't know if you've noticed this too, but I'm like, powdered sugar used to be $1.02 a bag. Now it's $1.62 a
Yes.
bag. Who's eating that cost? Well, currently I am.
Yep.
So I
Yeah.
need to adjust my pricing a little bit, but
And the time it takes to package. I would always
yeah.
get done at like 2 a.m. before the farmer's market and think, okay, I'm ready. I just have to package. And then no, packaging is another 3 hours.
Amen. And I'm like,
Yeah.
where does that time go? Like,
Yeah.
you think you have it all together, and I'm like, oh, I've got all together. This will take an hour. I'm like, 7 hours later,
Yep.
still here.
Yes.
I
Okay.
know.
That is how it
I
is.
know. I
So
don't.
I would pretty much say the same as what you would say. Make sure you're pricing, like you said, yeah, make sure you're not under pricing. Don't forget to pay yourself. That is
Yep.
something I see a lot of people. They just feel bad. They think I don't need to pay myself. I'll just pay for the ingredients and maybe, but you said gas time, like driving,
Time
pay
is money.
yourself. Yes, don't do the free deliveries. That is time that you could be in the kitchen baking and you're not. So
Yeah.
charge
Yep.
for that. Just don't undercharge.
Don't undercharge. And I always tell people, they're like, well, my product's not perfect yet. I'm like, well, then I wouldn't be out there selling it. I'd be out there giving it away.
Yeah.
But until your product is perfect, you want to make sure you're under promising and over delivering, because people really have an expectation. And if you don't meet it the first time, you're done. So
Yep.
I always tell people, make sure your product is polished and ready to go, and your packaging is polished and ready to go. Do
Yeah.
all of that before you start.
We have recipes out there for people. If you're like, I need a good recipe, just use our recipes.
I've handed it to you.
Yes.
Just take it.
We're giving you the tips to grow your
Yeah.
business and the recipes. You can do it. Like everyone,
You can do it.
my biggest tip is just start. Just do it. Just start it. Stop planning it. I see a lot of people in the planning stage for like years, and I'm like, nope, just like put it on Instagram or your personal social media and just go with it and figure it out along the way.
Sell 2 dozen your first week.
Yeah.
Make that your goal.
Yeah.
You don't have to go from not a bakery to like a full-blown 5,000 a week bakery.
Yeah.
Start small, make it manageable, see what you can do, and then go from there. But I know people, I feel like that's in their mind, like, okay, well, I'm going to start next week and I'm going to sell 50 dozen. I'm like, it takes some time to build up that momentum.
Yeah.
And to get your product out there. That was also one of my tips. Don't expect people to find you. You find people.
No one cares.
Well, it's like everyone's like, okay, I've opened a bakery.
Yeah.
Where are they? Where are they? It's like that Mervin's commercial. This may be dating myself, but back when I was younger, Mervin's was a store, not Kohl's, and they had this thing where it's like open, 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 and it's like the mom tapping on the glass for the store to open. And I feel like that's, people are like, okay, I'm a bakery, and then no one's gonna know that. You have to put yourself out there.
Yeah. And that ends up being like the fun part most of the time, getting like marketing and stuff. That is my favorite part about the whole business. So if you do it, you can do it in a fun way, and it'll work out.
No, you and me are very similar. I love marketing and branding.
Me too.
It's my favorite.
Yeah.
Favorite.
Okay, I will look at some questions here and we can get some of these answered. Hi, everyone that's saying hi. Thanks for joining. Okay, everyone says they can hear us. My 2 faves. Okay. Hi, everyone. Wow, there's a lot of comments. Okay, let's see. Someone said they appreciate your help on the reels. Oh yeah, she does a lot of reels. So, okay.
I do a lot of reels and a lot of how-to. And you know, every time Instagram changes, people tend to get negative. I'm like, don't get negative. They're telling you exactly what they want of you. Look at it as a positive and go and attack their list. Like, that's not a negative. They're telling you what they want. Let's do it, and I'll help you. So
I know I resisted reels until 2 weeks ago.
So recently, and now you're popping them out like hot candy.
Now I'm like, okay, I'm doing every day whatever you need, Instagram. Oh, okay, so we've got a question here. How much should you budget to invest in starting up? Started in April, and I swear between my ServSafe license and commercial kitchen fees, tools, etc., I have spent at least $5K so far, no profit yet. Wow, I started when I was young, and I had absolutely no money. I was just out of college, so I definitely didn't do 5K. Oh, I paused. Okay, can you guys hear me still? Okay, so I wouldn't think that much. I didn't even have $1,000 when I started, so I
had $5. I kind of played with $5.
Yes,
and I bought ingredients.
Yes, I bought whatever I needed for the first batch, and then whatever I made from that used. So I really think you hardly need anything. Open up your social media, get enough. But you said commercial kitchen fees. That's different. That's going to be different. I missed that at first. So we were doing home bakeries. Commercial kitchen, that is going to be a little harder.
Well,
Yeah.
and my advice is I wouldn't move to a commercial kitchen until you had the flux and demand to fill the need of that time.
Yeah.
So I would say stay in your home base unless you're in a state that really has very
Yeah.
strict home licensing laws. I would stay in your home base to fill that profit margin before you jump into debt for the business.
Yeah. And yeah, what state are you in if you're still on here? That is something I've heard a lot of people say they have to do a commercial kitchen because they can't
Yeah.
even use butter. So,
Yes. Well, we're one of those states. Yeah, butter is
yeah,
not on the approved list. Yeah.
that is not fun. So, yeah, I've had a lot of people say they have to, but there are other options for commercial kitchens. You can look at renting from maybe a coffee shop that's open until 3 p.m. and bake afternoon, or a lot of people are doing like church kitchens that they're not
Church kitchens
using.
are number one. Yep.
Yes. So,
And
so
these restaurants have modified hours right now. They
yeah.
need a way to bring in extra income too, and they have everything you need. So try to double up with a small bakery, a small sandwich shop, and see if you can get in there on a Saturday morning or a Sunday morning and bake your inventory there.
Yeah, and kind of let us know if you're still here. What are you doing to market? Because if you said no profit yet, you started in April. I mean, that's not too bad. I would just really look into starting to build everything up, and then it'll start coming in. Okay, someone says I suck at charging family. Yeah, family's hard. I still give them to my family for free because it's just my closest family here. But friends, you could offer like a set friends and family discount
Yeah.
or
10%,
something like that.
15%. Make sure you're at least covering those ingredients. That way you're not in a loss. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Okay, another one said I'm worst about family freebies. Yeah, or you could like add on some extra just to like keep them in a good mood.
I usually give them, like when we first started, I would give them the uglies or the extras.
Yes.
So they would eat the uglies or the extras, and that was their bin, and then everything else got
Yeah.
sold.
Yeah. Eventually they'll get tired of them.
Yeah, eventually.
Okay. I watched your reel the other day, brick mortar versus home. Was that mine, or did you do one like that?
I did a story about I used to own a brick and mortar.
Okay.
I owned a
Okay.
brick and mortar for years.
Okay. It's a no-brainer overhead wise to do it from home, but how do you attract the clientele? Do you do it?
So, like, I have everything on spreadsheets. I have every week. So, part of our cottage law for me, the way I understand ours is like I need to know who I sold to.
Mm-hmm.
So, part of that is I have everything on spreadsheets. So, every weekly order that comes in, I have it down on a spreadsheet. And my computer will auto populate names, and you can even set it to give you a number of how many times they've ordered. So, it's all written in your code in your Excel.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start getting familiar, right, with the names. Like, you know who are your repeat
Yeah.
customers, and then you want to take care of your repeats, right? So if you have uglies or extras one week, give them a half dozen and tell them to share them with a friend. That's a great way to build your business, is for people who are already ordering from you.
I 100% agree. My regulars kept me and kept us going through COVID. They were like consistently ordering for curbside pickup, and yeah, if you treat them right, they keep coming
They
back.
come back. Yeah.
It's
No dog
amazing.
hair in those, Max. Yeah.
Okay, what's the best way to find your margins?
Do you want to answer that, or do you want me to?
You can answer it.
So when, like I said, I had a brick and mortar for years, and so I laid out everything, right, from utilities to cleaning fees to the paper that stocked my cash register. Everything, we had it written down with variables. So all within Excel again, or QuickBooks, and then I knew what my bottom line had to be. So for a month of operation, I knew that I needed to clear X number of dollars to pay for payroll tax, income, all these things, right? For a home bakery, I do the same, but on a much smaller scale. So I take in effect wear and tear on my machines. I take in effect the ink out of my printers to print lists. I take everything into effect. And the good news is that list lasted me a year. Now with price increases, I need to go back in and replug in the numbers. But once you know that for one bag of almond flour, you can make 15 batches. Once you have that number, you're golden, because then you take all that big number, you divide it by how many shells and cookies you can make, and then you know what you have to sell each cookie for.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. It is nice to really write everything down. And once you know your product, you know your product. So this
Yeah.
sounds complicated, but Once you do it
It's
at
not.
first, get it out of the way. It's fine. Just do it at first.
It's like ripping off a Band-Aid. Just
Yes.
get it off and then you're fine.
Yes. And it's kind
Um,
of fun organizing all that stuff. I have fun anyway, like typing all that stuff into Excel. I don't know.
I totally do. I'm a list person. I'm
Yeah,
like,
me too.
what do I need to do today? Makeup,
Yeah.
hair.
I do that too. I just want to check it off.
I just want that satisfaction of that lie.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Someone says my family refuses to not pay me. They love me. That is amazing. I had a friend once that when I first started, I kept giving product to them for free. I kept trying to, and he was like, "I don't want you to do that because I want to keep buying these, and I won't if I know that you're just going to give them to me for free." So like that exists. Good friends exist.
Good friends. And that's also why I say never put your product on sale. Never put
Yes.
your product on sale because people will wait for it to go back on sale. If they know you're going to sell it at cheaper one time, they know you're going to do it again. Never put your product on sale. Now, if you want to sell your extras or your uglies the
Yes.
morning of delivery, discount those because those are last minute buys, but don't discount your product.
Yep, I 100% agree. We're not some like chain store. And if you want to do something extra, yeah, give them some extra like buy four, get one or something like that. So you're not kind of belittling your product.
Yep.
Someone asked, how much do you charge for delivery? So I don't deliver. Do you deliver?
I deliver. And let me tell you, our town is 5 miles long. I live
That
in a
sounds like our.
I live in the smallest town. So do I charge for delivery? No, because it's my time that I get to manage instead of having
Yeah,
people come all the way to my home. Now, mind you, my husband's a medical professional, and so I don't really want a lot of people at my home. So I prefer to drop off to them. That gets him on my time schedule. So I
yeah.
factor in that price into my max. So it's not an extra. A lot of people like don't like to be nickel and dimed. So if you just add the price into your max already for delivery, then
Mhm.
you're set.
Yep, that's what I used to do when I do like shipping for the holidays, which I don't do. Don't ask me to ship. But
Like that was a lot. That sounds like murder.
yeah, sometimes I will do it for the holidays and I will put that price into it because it's like they're already expensive and then the cost to do the shipping after, people are like, what? No.
Shipping is so much. Well, you need like 30 things. These are literally the most
Yes.
bougie cookies. I'm like, you don't need your own plastic little compartment.
Yeah.
You don't need your own ice pack. You don't need your own
Yep.
Mylar bag. It's so much material. For them to show up cracked and those people want a full refund, like I
Yeah.
tell people, I'm like, don't do the shipping thing unless you're a professional shipper.
Yep. That's what I say. I'm like, if they ask to ship, I'm like, are you okay with it possibly breaking and showing up late? And if they say yeah, I'm like, okay.
Then it's
Uh,
$50.
yeah, that will be $50. Okay, someone said, love both of your recipes. Both ladies are the best. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's see. What's the best way to take orders and stay organized?
Don't ask me because I'm not. I'm like scrolling through my DMs. I'm like, I know there was an order in here. Just kidding. I write everything down like
Same.
old school planner. Like I have not a Hello Kitty planner. It's not that bad, but I do have like a teacher
Yeah.
planner that I literally write everything down. Now, when the orders come in, I stick them into a Google Doc or an
Mhm.
Excel spreadsheet right away.
Okay, I do a lot of things because I'm terrified of forgetting an order, like someone
Me too.
messaging me and be like, I'm here. So I will write it down, put it on the calendar in my phone for an alarm, put it in my, like, I have, you can get any app that's like just notifies you or whatever, just maybe like Trello or something like that. I'll put it in there with more details. And then I'll also put it in my like to-do list. So
Yeah,
I
me
don't know
too.
if that's, yeah, very organized. You kind of just have to find what works for you. I find seeing it in front of me, writing it down on a calendar, and putting it somewhere so it notifies me. And I do orders online. Do you?
I do all orders through Instagram. So
Okay.
I just recently got a Facebook because of you. We heard our name being bounced around in your group and we're like,
Yeah.
oh, maybe we need a Facebook
Yeah, get in
profile.
there.
So I just did one and I'm like scared to death. But we do everything through Instagram right now. So it
Okay.
just is pretty quick and easy for us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That is nice. A lot of people put like no DMs or something like that if you do have a website because it is kind of hard to get people to just do one.
Yeah.
I am still doing like, I'll take whatever order like comes in because I feel bad. I don't want to be like, go over there. So it
I
depends.
wish I wish I had my Excel sheet printed off because I have a source. Where did I get the
Yeah.
order from? Was it texted in? Was it told to me? Was it one of my husband's employees? Was it DM'd? Like I write actually where it came from
Yeah.
so I know where to find it. Yeah.
Yes, that is true. I usually have to put their name and then source, or I will forget where it came from.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, let's see. How do you deal with competition in the local area? Not many competitors previously in Wyoming, but now in Northern Virginia, different story. What do you think?
I have great advice for this. So when I started making Macs, I was one and only. There was one guy before me and he gave me his blessing and was done with Macs. And now there are 9 in one city block. 9 in one city block. And here is what I say to that. Why are they competition? Think about community over competition and literally pay no attention. Rising tides raise all ships.
Mm-hmm.
You do you to the best of you can be. Don't waste your time, energy, or thought on what they're doing, what they have going on. You strengthen you. And when it comes down to it, if you've kept an open door to a possible relationship, you might need them one day. You might need their kitchen. You might need some resources from them. They might send some customers your way. But if you approach it as, oh my gosh, we're competition, block them, you're just setting a precedent for yourself that could be
Yep.
unhealthy in the end.
Yeah. And if you are doing it, like if you're not copying anyone, your personality will show through and people will buy for you, for your personality. Think of how many coffee shops there are in a single town.
Think how
Like,
many Heinz ketchup bottles are on a
yep,
shelf. Like,
yep. People will buy because they like you, they like your personality showing through your product. And I 100% agree with you. Do not, and do a collaboration. Like, we have
right?
competition. We're like, come in and do a pop up. Like,
I know.
after a while, you'll have, if you're doing this right, you'll have so many customers that you will be referring. Like, you'll have another, be like, okay, I'm booked, but go to this other. How nice would that be if another macaron baker said they recommended you to a customer? Like,
Yeah.
I love that.
It's almost the highest form of flattery, right? Because they
Yes,
trust
yes.
you with their customer. You know, when I owned a brick and mortar, we were the only store in this downtown that was like a home decor store. And
Mhm.
slowly stores started coming in and we would tag them, hey, this is what they've got going on today. And everyone's like,
Mhm.
are you nuts? And I'm like, 1 foot down here, whether it's their foot or mine, they're going to find me or mine are going to find them. And that
Yep.
brings more people into our downtown. It's not a competition, it's a community.
Yep. I 100% agree. Okay, let's see here. Um, I follow you all on YouTube a lot. I just also started my little macaron business at home. What good advice do you have for someone that just started? I'm living on a small island.
One, that sounds magical.
Yeah.
Why do you want to work? Throw that bathing suit on there, girl. Get out. Like, say what? Just kidding. Advice. I don't know. What advice do you have?
I would say it depends where you already are at in your journey. You said starting a macaron business. I like that. I always tell people to start with one thing. Like I'm still just doing macarons and I
Yeah.
love it that way. Focus on one thing, become really good at that. So if you do have a lot of competition, people are like, okay, she's the macaron person to go to.
Yeah.
They know which person to go to for what. What else? I would say just really get on social media, get out in your community, and just interact with people. Like, don't hide behind
Yeah.
your screen, especially on a small island. It sounds like you could really get to know people and bring out samples and do farmers markets if you can. That really helped me. Do you do farmers markets?
Yeah, you know, we do pop-up shops, never
Okay.
farmers market, but you know, here's my best advice. Either you're going to spend dollars in marketing for someone to see you through a screen, or you can get in
Yep.
front of them and hand them some free product. And that's probably actually cheaper to do that. So if it
Mm-hmm.
were me in a small island, there's probably a real estate office, you know,
Yep.
get Max to those realtors and say, hey, this would make a perfect welcome home gift on a counter from a new purchase, or get to the nurses at the hospital and give the staff, you know, some free Max. Get yourself into places that are occupied by people who can afford your product.
Yes, I agree with that. And you can get better feedback from your customers if you see them in person, you're giving to them in person. Maybe everything's too sweet where you are, and you can just kind of adjust things based on their feedback.
And then find some tropical fruit, make some crazy awesome flavors.
Yes,
Like,
local stuff. Yeah, that would be
yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
This one is also, okay, let's see. I'm just starting out and give a free sample for first-time customers, first order of a dozen or more. What are your thoughts on that? I don't advertise that I do that. A free sample for first-time customers, first order of a dozen or more. I mean, I always like giving a little extra to people that have already ordered. That is always something I did in the beginning.
Yeah, and this is how I do something like that. We would say, try our new flavor.
Yes.
So instead of here's a free sample, nah, try our new flavor. I want you to try our new flavor. And they would feel like, oh, me?
Yeah.
Me? You want me to try that? And they feel more like, hey, that's me. I'm being asked to help here. And so I say it that way. But
Yep. I like
yeah,
that. And then you can get feedback on that too, and then use that to tell other people these people thought this about it. So they kind of have you kind
yeah.
of have a little bit of feedback there. What do you each charge per dozen, just out of curiosity? So I charge in the shop different than what I charged before. When I was a home baker, I always did $2.50 each, and then I didn't bring the price down until I got to 20 macarons, and now I charge $2.75 each, and then it goes down once I get to 20.
So same, $24 is about the average, and that would be where I would start at. If your Macs have like they're stellar, like they look impeccable and they're on point for your taste, then you can start charging more. But until your product is perfectly polished, stay within the average of your community. If you're way too high, they're going to go somewhere else. If you're way too low, you're going to get very angry neighbors. So
Yeah.
find your average in your area and stay within that.
Yeah, don't price too low because you don't want to build a customer base based on that price. And don't forget, macarons are 2 cookies. They're like, everyone's like, that's how much it is for 1 cookie. There are 2 cookies stacked on top of each other. So don't feel bad
Yeah.
charging for what 2 cookies would
Well,
cost.
and another piece of great advice when you're just starting out, this is your introductory price.
Yeah.
My introductory price is $15 a dozen. That way they anticipate a rise, but they know that this is a deal for now, your introductory price.
Yep. I agree with that. And then once you're more established, you can kind of set that a little higher.
Yeah.
Someone
Yeah.
asked, how do I build my Instagram, Facebook followers? What do you think?
Very interesting reels.
That's what I was going to say.
Put the Barb Ross wig on. Go order a Bob Ross wig on Amazon. That worked well for us. But, networking, right? People network all the time. I don't suggest buying followers. Your engagement just tanks. Ours is a completely organic following. We've been at it for a year and 2.5 months. So just, engage with your followers. Don't treat them like you're gifting them something. Treat them as the gift. Like,
Yeah.
return your DMs, answer the questions, engage with your followers.
Yep, I agree. And I would say keep up to date with the algorithm. But that aside, the algorithm, the basic gist of it is whatever keeps people on Instagram longer is what Instagram likes. So do reels that people will want to watch again, do IGTVs, anything that keeps them on the platform longer, Instagram will then show more of your content.
Yeah, and take good photos of your food. Don't
Yes.
show your food with like a dirty mixer in the background and like a cat on the counter. Don't do that. Find an intern in your area. I don't even know, like kid running around in a diaper. I've seen some really interesting backgrounds with food. I'm like, go find a college kid, ask him if he takes photography, and pay him in Max to shoot some photos for you. But photos sell food.
Photography is probably the skill that you need the most for any business. Like, get good at photography no matter what you want to do. That is just such a key. It's not that hard once you get it down. Like, once you know how to get the light, you can kind of set up certain areas in your home and have backgrounds set up. So you just put the food there, you know what time the light is going to be good, and you take the pictures. It doesn't have to be a whole thing. Yeah.
Like my whole
Yes.
setup is like photograph, lighting,
Yep.
window, like yeah,
Yep. And iPhones. I took my pictures on my iPhone for the first 6 years, I think, and it was perfectly fine.
I
Yep.
still do.
Yes, they're great. You can definitely use that.
Did you see the new one coming out in October? They said that the picture quality is going to be even better.
Really?
Yeah, they said that it would be professional photo quality every shot.
Okay, I
That
might have
was like,
to.
I know. I was like, crap. I'm not due, but maybe I'm due.
I know. My phone accidentally fell in the tub.
Write off business expense. I
Yeah.
need it for the camera. Yeah.
Okay, let's see. This one says, how should I set up my ingredient labels when I'm selling a pack of variety flavors?
Great question. I think I have one around here. Maybe I don't, but I list everything.
Same.
So I don't break it down by action. I don't say like Oreo mac, if this is all in there. I list all the ingredients. Now, mind you, I'm not using any artificial ingredients or like syrups that have different names that I can't pronounce. I'm using usually whole, like freeze-dried fruits, or, if it's a creamer, I'm just writing the creamer. I'm not breaking it down to the next step of listing all the creamer ingredients because that's not what's required of me.
Okay, we have to do, yeah, so this depends on your state. In Ohio, we have to do everything, and depending on the health inspector, they might tell you to do each cookie. So I have to do like lemon macarons, chocolate macarons, and I have to put every ingredient and the sub ingredients. But when I'm doing a variety pack, yeah, I will just put a long list of all of that on the back of the box. I don't even try to
Yeah.
make it look cute. It's just on the bottom where people won't really see it, and they can just look if they need to.
Yeah. I usually, anytime there's an allergy, in fact, I'm going to walk you this way. I'm going to show you real fast. Don't mind me taking a field trip with you, but I think, yes. Okay. I have these huge barn doors that go into my office.
Oh, cute.
So this is my packaging. If there is an allergy of any kind, dairy or anything else, it's right on the top.
Yeah.
Right on the top. That way, if they are allergic to a tree nut or allergic to a dairy product, I have it listed first thing before. That's exactly what my
Yep.
packaging looks like.
Especially, that looks very cute, but especially almonds. A lot of people don't know that macarons are made with almonds, and a kid will go to eat it, and I'm like, whoa, almonds. So that is something you have to be, yep, those look amazing.
Thanks. This is just like a Word document. So there's all the flavors.
Oh, cute.
There's all the ingredients.
Yeah.
Like our calling card, how to get a hold of us, and that's our logo.
Cute.
So, yeah.
Okay. Let's see. I take order through email to keep them all together. Yeah, that's if you're missing an order. So someone says, should I individually wrap each macaron with the ingredient label on it for market? Seems like a lot of extra work. It depends on your state. What do you do?
So if I'm selling like pre-packaged dozens, which we normally do, I'll have the labeling for that dozen. And I usually color coordinate my dozen, and then I put them on my page so people know what colors to look for what flavors they want.
Oh, good. Okay. So I individually wrap them for markets, but only because we have to here. I've seen other people that they don't have to. Their health department doesn't care at all. But I like it because it does keep them fresher longer and I cannot stand when two macarons are next to each other and they start to taste like each other. So
Yeah.
I need that. And like a peanut butter next to lemon. No.
The coconut needs its own bag. The coconut needs its own bag.
Mint has to be made in a separate location.
Mint has to be on the next block.
Yeah.
Thank you for ordering that mint one. Walk a mile. It's down there. Pick it up.
Yeah, so I like to individually, I mean, it is a pain in the butt, definitely, because it's extra and you have to label everything, but I do think that they are better when the customers take them home and finally get to eat them. So it does kind of work out in the end.
Yeah, and so when we do individually wrap ours, we give them a cathedral box or a barn box so they can put them in a barn box, and we have it closed up with the general info just slid in there, and then any other tagging or things we need, we just put it right in that barn box and close it and send it off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So someone here says, what do you ladies, it's missing a word, I'm assuming you mean, what do you ladies think of mobile bakery for the Macs? I mean, that would be cool if that's something that...
Dude, that is like my dream. That's like a food truck Mac style, like Mac Daddy. Like that's my dream, my absolute dream. Give me a food truck, next to a taco truck, next to a pizza truck. I'm all good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you follow Kelsey Elizabeth Cakes in Cleveland?
No, but let me
They
write that
have,
down.
write that down. They have some sort of like cart, I think, that they bring out to maybe the park or somewhere, and they have just a row of macarons, and it's got one of those little cute awnings. And
Oh,
that is
so
something
cute.
I would want to do.
I tried to talk my husband into that. He's like, "Where are we gonna park it?" I'm like, I don't know, in your spot in the garage. Like, let's do this. And he's like, "No."
No, yeah, I wouldn't want to be outside that long, I don't think.
We need to be air conditioned for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay, someone says, what's the best way to get your name out there via social media? I'm in the process of opening up my mini cheesecake business to the public. I've been doing them for years to friends and family. So we did kind of already answer this one. But I would say also to add on to that, like do what they tell you to do, like reels and video and stuff, but consistency. Like post a lot. Don't be worried about getting annoying. People can just scroll past or unfollow you. And also, they could just put down their phone. Like you're not
Yeah.
in their face talking to them. So just consistently post. I'm bad at that, but I would at least try to post every day. Some people are saying now 2 times a day, 3 times a day. Yeah.
I do two, sometimes three.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So if you can do that, definitely do that, but just be consistent, I would say. Do you have anything else you want to add?
Be consistent. Find a wedding that you can, hey, we want to just sponsor your wedding. Can we get our name out there by doing an event, or find a local event planner in town and say, hey, we're really trying to get our product out there. Can we come set up and give you this for free one night? Also on social media, you don't have to be the type of account that gives away all your trade secrets and recipes. Leave that to us. If you don't have to do that. So many
Yeah.
people are like, well, on social media, I have to give away all my tips. No, you don't. You can just be a business. That's okay.
Yep. Yep. I agree. And do you follow Jenna Ray Cakes?
No, I need all these
These are
names.
great accounts. Jenna Ray Cakes, they do
Jenna
macarons.
Ray.
Yeah,
Okay.
RAE. So they released a cookbook, but I don't think they put their recipes online, and they just post beautiful photos. Like that's their thing. Just constantly good photos. They don't share stuff like that. And it seems like they're doing, hey, Nicole's on here. Hi, Nicole from Bake to Jours.
Oh, is she on? Oh, I love Nicole.
Okay, so let's see what else. Ooh, thoughts on reposting old content because you're only part-time. I don't really tell people this a lot, but go look through my Instagram and notice how many times I use the same photos, rotated, flipped, like I reuse
Different
photos.
filter. You're like, these are vintage.
I reuse photos a lot. I haven't gotten to reusing reels yet. What do you think? Would you reuse content?
So reels you can't put back on your grid once they're gone. You can't you can't
Interesting.
you can't put them back on. So I say leave them there. Don't take them off your grid.
Yeah.
Leave them there. But your content, so another interesting thing about the algorithm, if you have immediate interaction on your post, then your post is shown to 10% of your audience. If you have really great interaction after that 10%, it's shown to 20%, but the most it's going to be shown to is 40 to 50%. That means half your followers are only seeing half your posts. So why not reuse them? Like,
Yep.
why not? Us, it's getting a little tricky because we have this I had this harebrained idea to do colors.
Oh,
And so now
yeah.
I'm like, crap, I can't do that anymore because the red block down here, I can't duplicate the red block
Yeah.
here. So now I have to come up with new content.
Yeah, and I like to think of it as repurposing old content. So
Yeah.
maybe you have an IGTV you did that you can shorten and edit into a reel, or maybe you have a bunch of pictures you can put together to make a reel. So try to maybe repurpose it. Maybe you can take the video, the original video that you're pointing or whatever for a reel, and add different captions maybe,
Words.
and add a
Yeah.
different song that fits. So there are ways to repurpose. That's what I do with YouTube and stuff like that.
Same. I have 37,000 photos on my phone and 9,000 videos, and I keep them on there. That way, if I need something in a pinch, I could absolutely do it. Can you tell my
Yes.
husband just got home and he's playing with the kids? That door wasn't all the way shut. Sorry. So
Okay.
yeah, I repurpose my content.
Same.
I mean, and I do it in a like I'm going to give tips about sprinkles on Macs one time, I may give a tip about baking with sprinkles another time. So I'm changing the value of it, but I might be reusing the picture.
Yep, I agree. So someone said, what are the best gel food colorings? I use Americolor. Do you have an opinion on that?
So currently I'm like knee deep in like the chef master world because I have found all these amazing colors, but Americolor, Chef Master, those are my top two for sure.
Yeah, I don't use gel, but when I did, it was one of those, and I like that. Someone said, can you please repeat the name of that mobile Mac shop? So I said Kelsey Elizabeth Cakes, and they're in Cleveland, and then Jenna Ray
Jenna Ray.
Cakes. Yeah. Okay, I'm thinking of a great catchy name to start. How did y'all choose? Well, I mean, I was like, this is what they're going to call it anyway, so I might as well. So that's how I chose.
So we were the Sweet Mac shop, and then we were the Sweet Mac shop, and then I had to drop the. I felt like I was in that Facebook movie. Drop the. It's cleaner. But and then I actually went back and captured any name around mine, so no one would take it. But
Me
if
too.
you're thinking of a name, think of something without a dash or a dot in it. You don't want to have to spell out the name
Yeah.
every time. You don't want to be like Macarons dot Barb slash Riley minus Cleveland. Like, just make it pretty simple, Like,
Yeah.
they're not going to write it down. So if you have to tell them or spell it, they're not going to get it. So just do something really simple.
Simple, and I would check social media first. It's not that big of a deal if you can't get your handle, but I would check websites, domains.
All your
Yes.
platforms. Yep.
All your social media platform. And then I also would recommend buying everything around it. So like Michelle's Macaroons, because that was getting typed in a lot. If you type that into the browser, it will take you to Michelle's Macarons, because a lot of people will type that in. And I did not want someone else
Yeah.
having that.
You want to capture all eyes on you. And there's been a lot of Instagram accounts that have dubs created. Have you noticed that lately?
Yeah.
Even the big companies like Sweeta Polita, someone just dubbed theirs. And so we just made sure we captured the Sweet Mac shop, Sweet Mac shop, Sweet Mac shop official. Like, we just covered all of our bases.
Yeah. Okay, let me see. It looks like maybe we've got a couple more. How many varieties of flavors do you make for a farmer's market or something of the sort?
That's a great question. So for me, we always try to do 12 flavors.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I
At
usually...
least 12 flavors.
At least 12 flavors? Okay, so how do you pick them? Do you have a system for picking the flavors?
So I usually put them in packs, and then I name the pack something catchy. Like for Mother's Day, it was like Your Mom was named a pack, or Cool Mom, or Stacy's Mom. We had like 3 different packs, and every pack had a different flavor. So some of our pop-ups, we have over 100 flavors, but we at least have 12 flavors. And like I said, we'll come with all pre-assorted. If we're going to come with them individual, then we have just a variety of what we have in the assorted.
Okay, yeah, so here it depends if I'm doing a pop-up or a farmer's market or what, and how big the event's going to be. Sometimes we only do 5 flavors, sometimes more. It just depends on the location. But yeah, I like to do singles and then maybe some boxes, but I like to include a little bit of each. So something chocolatey, something citrus, something fruity. Yeah.
Same with us. Yeah. A really super unique one we put in there, like a baklava would go in there, or something super random would go into the pack. Yeah.
Yes, at packs, I always tried to get people to try something that they wouldn't normally try. So I would put a bunch of normal flavors with something a little crazy, so then they would try it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Never put all your best sellers together, and never put your least sellers together.
Yeah.
Put some of your best sellers in with your least. That way you don't end up with a million leftovers.
And if you're charging the same for all of them, don't put all expensive flavors. Don't do all chocolate covered in one box. Try to Okay, so someone says, my name is complicated. It's French. Should I make my Facebook, Instagram name handle something more simple? I don't know. Is your market French? It kind of depends who you are advertising to.
And if it were me, I would have all my platform names the same, because nothing's going to get more confusing if, well, where are you going to find us? Are you going to find us on Facebook? Because that name is this.
Yeah.
Or you're finding us on Twitter? Well, that name is this. Oh, Instagram? Well, that's this name. Like, that could get real confusing. So pick one and do it across all platforms.
Yep, I agree with that. It looks like maybe we got all of the questions. We got another one about, we got another one about how many do you make a week? Can you answer that? I can't really answer that. It's
So
different.
it's usually around 1,200.
Okay, 1,200 a week.
Yeah.
Um, Someone said, how many flavors, oh, do you recommend offering like for customers to order not pre-made? So I'm bad at that because I have a ton of flavors and I just put them all up on my website. And if they order the minimum, I'll make that flavor for them. So
Yeah.
that doesn't matter too much to me. I have heard some people say, keep the options simple so they're not like overwhelmed with decisions, but I kind of want to make all those flavors, so I leave it there.
So same with me. If you're going to custom order and you're going to hit my minimum, here the book is open for you,
Yeah.
right? But if I have a weekly order, I do at least 6. I usually try to work in quantities of 12 because they have to order 12. So if I do 6, then it could be 2 of each, or I'll order 12. Something that's like an even number that will go. So people can say, well, I want 2 of each, or I want 1 of each. Like it's either 6 or 12 for us.
Okay. Someone said, do you make ahead and freeze or fresh?
Well, I hate freezing, so I
Me too.
go backwards. So from the day of delivery, I go back. I get all the orders in on a Monday. I see how usually we sell out within. Look at we have nine Mac makers on one block, but we still sell out in about 20 minutes.
Yep.
So show up for your people and your people show up for you. But once I have the number, then I work backwards from there to get the maximum freshness. I make my buttercream all the day before, fresh, and I package and then I let them mature overnight in the fridges and then I deliver.
Yeah.
So the
Same.
shells would be, yeah, the only thing I need to freeze are the shells, and that's only if I have to.
Yeah. I agree with that. We haven't had the time yet to freeze. Like that's always the goal. Like, okay, this week is when we're going to make some and freeze the shells. We have never got to that, but if I did, it would be freezing the shells, then making the
Yeah.
fillings, I think. So you can kind of, and you can have a bunch of white shells in there, so you can kind of pick the flavors. You have a lot of options.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before I even put out a menu, I have it color coordinated with the flavor.
Yeah.
I'm a designer, so like color
Yeah.
is everything for me. So I have my color palette picked out. I have my backpack packed, and then we put the menu out there and see what happens.
I can tell by your background that you're a designer. It looks cute. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the green side. That's the pink side.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, what are your thoughts on monthly Macaron subscriptions?
People are going to that subscription-based pricing and policy, and for me, I'm not like I'm too eclectic for that. I want to put out flavors every week, and like I guess it might be easier, but then it's like I don't know, like I have to commit to that then. Like what if I find like a really great mango and I want to like switch it up to mango one week? Like I don't know. I haven't really like dove into that yet, but
Yeah. So
I don't
I
know.
did
What
that
do
in
you
the
think?
beginning. I did that in the beginning and I did like it because but I made it so they would, whatever flavors were seasonal, they would get. So it was
Okay.
like, I'm going to do October flavors, November, and they didn't know what they would be. I just did whatever
Okay.
I felt was good. And after a while, you do kind of gain their trust. But I liked it for that reason. I stopped doing it now just because I don't want that, like, those orders like looming over me. Like, I don't want
Yeah.
orders that I have to remember every single month. So,
Okay, you wanted
yeah.
what box? How many boxes? Okay, I got it.
Yeah,
I
that
got
sounds very stressful now because you can't just like auto ship them. So
it.
I don't now, but that's definitely something I did to start with. And I think people liked giving it as gifts. That's what I noticed. I had like a gift certificate for a 6-month Macaron subscription, and people were giving them as presents
Oh,
a lot. Yeah.
that's awesome.
Okay, someone says, do you ladies do DoorDash, Uber Eats, etc.? My husband thinks it would be a good idea for my business. I don't.
So they
Yeah,
take a pretty big commission. DoorDash takes like 30 to 40%, I heard. So your product, you have to overprice your product for you to break even.
yeah.
So it'd be cheaper for you to jump in your car and deliver.
Yes, so I agree with that. I wouldn't do that, and I don't even know if we have it around here, but um, I'm a fan of like doing that on your own, like offering
Yeah.
some sort of maybe late night delivery if you have cookies or something. Like I'm all for that, but I, yeah, wouldn't put it through that app.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it through the app. You won't make any money. You could, but you won't make any money.
Oh, okay. So when you go to a farmer's market, what filling do you use? Sometimes it's so hot. How do you set up without having your macarons melt?
So I use a dub filling. I've said this before. Toothpaste
Oh,
works
yeah.
great. Painter's caulking works great. Just make sure you're Xing the bottom of that mac so you don't
Yeah.
spill it. But we use a dub mac out. Like if we have to present it, we have that. And then we have everything in those livery boxes. They're coolers built for farmers. They're very inexpensive and they're like styrofoam, very light, but they come with all these pre-placed ice packs to keep things really cold. I think we have an IGTV about those boxes in particular.
Okay, good. I would say the same
But
thing. Don't put them out. Put out pictures, put out anything but the real things, because they also kind of look gross if they're all melted. So keep
so
them in the
gross.
coolers, ice packs, and keep those shut unless you're opening them to get your product out.
Yes. Don't, yeah. Mark your coolers really well so you know
Yeah.
exactly where you're going before you go there.
Yep. Okay, someone says, you put your prices up on your website along with flavors, or is this something you tell your customers when they inquire?
We don't have any prices out there at all.
Really?
So yeah. So when people order from me, they generally know the price, or I have like a message to that. It's like an auto message that says, thanks for your order. This is the price. This is delivery day. This is that.
Mhm.
We don't do that mainly because the second you have a price out there, someone's going to find a reason not to pay it,
Yeah.
or you have the people who are like, well, I can find it somewhere cheaper. So
Yeah.
we usually try to talk with them and engage with them before.
Yeah, okay.
Now,
I see that.
mind you, my Macs are not full price in my town. My town's a very small town, so we are just right below the average, and um, we do okay.
Okay. So I don't think I put my prices up at first on my website. And then I think once we got into the shop and we were
Yeah,
getting more orders, it was like, I don't want to be answering all these emails. So I
yeah,
only want serious orders coming in. So that's something you could do if you don't want to put them up at first. You could eventually, if you want to only get emails from actual orders.
that's great advice. Like I actually should take that advice.
It is nice after a while when you're not answering a million, how much are they
Well,
emails?
normally people know, like
Yeah.
so and so told me about you, and they said you're this much, and like usually
Yep.
people just fill them in. I'm like, yeah, yep, yep.
Yep. Okay. So I think we answered all the questions. Do you have anything else you want to add?
No, just thanks for having me. Like
Yeah.
I just, I don't know about you, but I hear so many wonderful things from people talking about you, and it's just so nice to connect. So
Same with you. Same with you. A lot of people. Are you in the Facebook group yet?
me, no, I just got the profile. I'm like nervous. Like I have a love-hate relationship with Facebook.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a
I know,
lot.
like I can barely keep up with my Instagram, but
Yeah. Okay. So thanks for coming on here. This was awesome.
yeah.
Maybe we'll do something like this again.